So, hello everyone. If you're watching live, you're watching the recording, the replay. Thank you for joining us. My name is Gail Beltran-Knott, and I am, I guess, currently the VP of
Gail?
Publicity until the end of the month
Yes.
for Entrepreneurship Toastmasters. And I have with me my guest, Karen Retardo, our president for this past year.
Yes.
Thank you for
Outgoing
joining me.
president. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
outgoing
pleasure is
president
there.
and did an amazing job. So Karen, I actually rewatched your interview with Elisa from last year, trying to prepare for this interview.
Yes.
And you had mentioned a couple of goals or intentions that you were setting for this year. And you mentioned things like foundations and growth. How how do you think we did in terms of those intentions? Did they change at all? Did we hit them? What's your take on that?
Yeah. Well, for me, my intention was really to focus on growth, Gail, and we have 23 members right now. And hey, I still have a couple of weeks before it's over because I said 25. So it's still possible and
Yeah.
entering the role of VP membership. So started reaching out to our visitor last night and see because she said she was interested in joining our entrepreneurship Toastmasters Club. So I
Yeah.
really feel good about my intention. I'm like, yes,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
yeah, you mentioned two pending people who want to apply to become members, and it's just getting their application and doing the processing and stuff. And then our visitor who visited last night, who I think she was a repeat guest as well. I think.
oh,
Or I just see her on Instagram.
Instagram,
It's
yeah,
funny with so many like virtual connections, and then you get to meet them on Zoom through our club meeting, which is one of the things I really enjoy. And sometimes we also get to meet in person too. That I love that it brings
yeah.
those connections closer. So maybe maybe I haven't met her before. And I just
Maybe
think I
because
have because I'm following her on Instagram.
yeah, because that's what she said when I went to our Google sheet where she came from, and it was through social media. So
Yeah. Yeah, the growth has been amazing thanks to all the members, and especially thank you to our incoming president, Adrian Reyes, who has a vast network and she's been inviting, and it's been wonderful seeing her connections come through too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there
So
anything surprising that came up this past year that you weren't expecting?
oh, well, I think there was part of me that was a little bit nervous. I have to be honest, Gail, like, to be part of this powerful Pinay Ecom executive committee, like you, Elaine, Cheryl, past presidents. I'm like, oh my goodness, will I be able to live up to that expectation? And at the same time, learn to really trust my, my own inner guidance, my own leadership style. And I'm like, it's not like Karen, stop comparing because sometimes I tend to compare and then I'm always the inferior one. But I'm like, you know what? Like this is a great field to play. They love me, I love them, and they're gonna support me if I fall. And like, yeah, so I think the unexpected was it was easy and effortless.
Yeah, I think that's the strength of the team as well as the participating members really lifts the club up. And I've noticed that because I've been on ecom in different positions for the past few years. I've noticed that if we have a strong team and members are participating in any way that they can, that it runs well. But you did a great job.
Yeah,
Congratulations, Karen.
yeah, thank you. Yes.
And I have noticed, speaking of Instagram from earlier, you've started doing talking head reels where previously you just do like
Yes.
single posts or carousels or maybe a faceless reel, but you've just recently doing talking head reels. Tell me more about that.
Yes. I've always wanted it, Gail, but fear gets in the way. And this year I'm like, you know what? Get over it, Karen. Like just do one. So I do my best, even if it's just one talking head reel. And so far, like it's getting easier. I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that bad.
I think that's the key thing with like speaking in general with I've also have increased my confidence when it comes to speaking because of our practice that we have in Toastmasters. And with such a supportive club and all Panay's, it's just been so wonderful doing that. Yeah.
So like yeah, so once a week, that's my commitment. If I do more, great, but at least once a week. So
Yeah. And now you're
yeah.
coming in as incoming membership, VP of membership. Do you have any plans or ideas regarding that you'd like to share?
Well, continue to grow. And I'm like, okay, we're almost 25. If we could get to 30 or even 35 next year, I'm like, I don't know. But like, that would be great because I think when we started last year, we were around 17, 18,
Mhm.
and we grew like five, almost seven members this year. So, like, why not? So that's my goal. And to really stay in touch with our members, even past members. So I'm also looking forward, Gail, because one of my strengths is connectedness in my Clifton strengths, and I have a high relator strength. So I'm looking forward to just really connect with potential members and even old members, and not even to like push them to like join, but just
Right.
to connect where they're at, and if entrepreneurship could be a supportive community to join, because like having community is really awesome. And the like I said, like I look forward to our first and third Tuesdays of the month Toastmasters meeting.
Right. Yeah, I remember when I first joined, I mean, I was excited to join. I always wanted to join the Toastmasters Club because I wanted to practice my speaking, but it was always inconvenient, whether it's like you're going to a location for that or I didn't connect with the people. But when I found out it was all Panay's, this will be exciting. I think it started during the pandemic. So it was a way to
Yeah.
build connection online with other
Yeah.
Panay's who also want to speak. How did you find out about this
Oh.
Toastmasters Club?
Well, because I joined Toastmasters early 2000, but it was in person, and I think with the pandemic,
Oh,
and I think I signed up to for the newsletter of entrepreneurship, and then I saw Toastmasters. I'm like, ooh, yes, let me check it out, because I know Toastmasters was founded August 21st, and I joined March 22nd. So,
oh,
oh,
okay. Oh,
mhm,
that's great.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think I saw it in the newsletter as well. Heard about the community first, and then
Hmm.
as they were starting the Toastmasters Club, kind of joined it. So we
And
might have joined around the same time then.
yeah,
Maybe. Yeah,
and then it's Zoom, so I'm like perfect because with the pandemic before, I'm like
right.
okay,
Yeah, and now
but
having
yeah,
people all over the world.
the
We had
world.
yeah, yeah. We had mentioned, one of our intentions this year was for us to compete in the Toastmasters awards or contests and stuff, but I didn't realize that they were all in person, which I think makes it harder since we
No,
are all around the country and around the world. So you have to be well, you don't have to be in LA, but you have to be able to go to LA for those
yes,
awards. Do you think there's gonna
yeah,
if for people who do want that larger stage, so to speak, or maybe some sort of competition format or anything like that, do you have any ideas on how we could increase our reach or increase our stage for our speakers?
that would be no ideas at the moment, Gil, but like it would be really great to, showcase our entrepreneur Toastmasters Kumaris, because like they're so amazing. And I'm
Yeah,
listening to Jen last night again doing her evaluation. I'm like, darn, like she's so good. She needs to
yeah,
complete.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
and maybe
I think
reach.
it would be cool. I think for me, it would be nerve-wracking, but at the same time, I know because I'm thinking about it, it's probably something I wanna do deep inside, but I'm not willing to go there yet. Oh, speaking of which, your speech last night on imposter syndrome was wonderful, and it's actually something I've been exploring myself of my own imposter syndrome and where that comes from and working through that. Is that one of the things that you support your clients with for people who feel that?
Yes, like especially as a first gen immigrant here, Gail, and then I remember feeling so self-conscious with the way I talk. I'm like, oh my goodness, my Filipino accent might be so strong they won't understand me, and all those self-doubt. But you know what? It's part of who I am. And like I said in my talk last night, we keep pushing imposter syndrome, like ways to overcome imposter syndrome. But I've shared, even successful people, icons like Tom Hanks, Maya Angelou, they still experience imposter syndrome. So rather than making it an enemy, like
Mhm.
we just need to accept and embrace that it's part of life, normalize it, and not let us not paralyze us. So
Right. Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's what it is. I feel like imposter syndrome is just this fancy label to kind of like keep us down, where it's just normal fear and anxiety that everybody feels. But we don't have to put it up on the pedestal of like, "Ah, I'm an imposter." It's like, oh, everyone feels nervous. Everyone feels like they don't quite belong. And it's that lizard brain type of mechanism
Yes.
that's trying to keep us safe, but knowing that there isn't a bear out there that's gonna jump at
Yeah.
us.
Yep. Yep. And
Yeah.
so interesting you mentioned that lizard brain because I was just listening to the audiobook of Dr. Bruce Perry and Oprah, What Happened to You? And he talks about, like
Oh,
the brain and everything. Like I believe because I do like, aside from helping my clients with imposter syndrome too, like I do inner child work because Gail almost always that stuff that comes up, it boils down to our wounded child. So,
wounded inner child.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I could talk forever. I would I have, like, a million questions about that. I wanna stick it like, stay within the speaking realm
Yes.
regarding Toastmasters and that. Do you have any, plans for this coming year for your own speaking, whether
Oh,
career or how you use speaking in your business? Oh, I'm sorry if my parrot's being
oh.
loud. She's getting excited.
Well, Gail, I'm speaking at the National Nurses Business Association annual conference next month, and it's
Great.
about strengths and service. And yeah, and thank you to our Toastmasters because last year I was a breakout session, and out of the 200 participants, half went to my breakout session. And even the president told me, like, Karen, I wanted to join your breakout session, but it was standing room only. They won't let me in anymore. So this year they're like, we want you on the main stage, and I'm like, oh my god, Gail, because it's still majority puti. Like entrepreneurs are still mostly white, 80 80 to 85%. So I'm like, oh my goodness. But hey, time to represent us.
Yeah. And these emotions that we feel, the imposter syndrome, the fear, the block, self-sabotage, that's everyone, every human feels that. And I believe that if they don't necessarily connect with a specific story of like being an immigrant or speaking a different language, I think they're all going to feel of like a fish out of water, feeling like you don't belong. So they'll all connect with that. And I think that's
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Entrepreneurship Toastmaster is a safe space for Panay to speak. Also, and knowing too that outside of our bubble, a lot of people are here. So um, it gives us a safe place to practice and to develop our voice. And then when we go
yeah.
out in the world, where it's a diverse world, that we're hopefully more comfortable in our skin and sharing our voice. And as my friend Evelyn, who is watching, shares, that people need to hear your message. Thank you, Evelyn.
Yeah. Thanks, Evelyn. And even the way we give feedback, Gail, it's with
Yes.
so much love, but like so much growth. And how I wish, like, during annual performance eval. So, if you're a manager or a leader, join our Toastmasters Club to learn how to give great.
Give critique with compassion.
Yeah,
You know, I like to
yeah,
do the feedback sandwich where you say something good, you give something they can work on, and then end with like a
yes,
summary of all these great things.
yeah.
But
Because
yeah,
never.
I've always been someone who's been sensitive to critique, And I realize it's not necessarily the critique or the feedback, because it's helpful. It's helpful getting that information. It's more of fear of like the judgment, or I'm not good enough or anything like that. But with this safe community that we have, we know that they're all sharing with love. And
Yeah.
we all have our challenges in speaking. Yeah.
Yes. And like Jen, like I said, I'm just keep talking about her evaluation, but yep, she would do that. Like, what she loved about the speech, and then she would mention what you could improve on. But like, yeah, she would do the sandwich thing, Gail, and she would end what was great about it. So
Yeah. Yeah. And
yeah.
I love the feedback that we receive from all our members of they're very specific things. It's not just like, oh, great speech, or
Yeah.
great message, or they say something specific like, oh, your lighting is not quite right, or we couldn't hear you well with the microphone, or there's too much headspace for both
Headspace.
of us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to like
No,
lower
it's
my
all like,
desk,
oh.
increase my my height here, lower my camera. But yeah, they give us all this like concrete information on what to speak. Or someone gave me feedback on, you told this great story in the beginning, and I would recommend you tie it at the end, like repeat the lesson, or something like that. And that's something that you don't think about unless you have people, share this information with you.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
absolutely love the feedback that we get, because it is very specific, particularly for those who do want to improve their communication, like are really serious about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And our pacing, I know for me, if once I feel nervous, I talk faster. And just to hear
Mm,
that feedback from my evaluator. And yes, you're right, like this, how to circle back to our beginning. And
mhm.
another thing that stands out was like 3 points. If you could, mention 3 points in your talk would
Right.
be a good thing too. So, yep,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
I like
how.
how Cheryl always includes statistics, and I tend to just go
Oh
for
yeah.
story naturally. So now mixing in the statistics, the hard facts with the
Yeah.
story, with the emotion, and blending that in, um, has has helped me become a better presenter and storyteller and speaker for that.
Yeah.
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 So if you were looking back at you when you were first joining our club with entrepreneurship Toastmasters, is there any kind of advice you'd like to give to that person before?
Oh, I think just do it and find a community that really aligns with who I am. And
Mhm.
you know this, Gail, like even in your coaching business, but like really find something that lines up with my values, who I am, because then there's I get, just like the learning zone model, I get outside of my comfort zone. I don't go to panic zone, but I'm in my stretch
Mhm.
and growth zone. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good for all of us to remember. And I don't think you spoke a lot this past year, right? Did you?
No, I didn't, because I was focused on being president. I'm like, growth,
Right.
growth, growth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that with all our past presidents, is that you're focused on your role and may not necessarily be practicing your speeches, your formal speeches. So are you getting back on it this coming year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which pathway are you on again?
Presentation mastery.
Oh, okay. And does that
Hmm.
have to do with presenting with PowerPoint, or is it something
Just the
more overall?
foundations of
Okay.
like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, let me start with this one. When I joined 3 years ago, Gail, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. And I'm like, okay, I think this is a good foundation.
Yeah, that sounds good. And for those who aren't familiar with Pathways and Toastmasters, it's the training program that we have that's included in our membership. And I believe there are 6 different pathways you can choose. I know I'm on motivational strategies, there's dynamic leadership,
Yes.
there's presentation mastery. Um,
There's
and,
humor.
oh, humor. Yeah, that's a
Mm-hmm.
good one. So you get to choose, and then there's different lessons you try to complete. sometimes I would write a new speech for that lesson. Other times, and I think this is the way I'm going to try to do it from now on, is take an idea for a big keynote speech and then work on it
Oh,
bit by bit and play with these lessons that they're giving us, because I think the lessons kind of stretch us too, because it's like, oh, I haven't tried,
wow.
for example, presenting with PowerPoint, or I haven't tried how my vocal tonation and inflection affects a story, or just storytelling
Yes.
in general, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Because, like, yeah, vocal variety, our pacing, slow, soft, loud,
Hmm.
still a lot to learn, but it's a great club, you know,
Yeah.
organization.
So are
Yeah.
you looking for more speaking engagements this coming year?
Oh, I want to, Gail, especially in health, in healthcare, and I don't know, because like the topics that I want to talk about, it's more, personal growth. The only challenge in healthcare, it's more academe. They want evidence based. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I hope that changes, because sometimes it's like the personal and professional development that it
Hmm.
matters too. So
Right. And I think there are more studies on that as well. One of our incoming executive committee members, she mentioned it last night, works for Perplexity, I
yeah,
believe.
yes,
And I've
yes.
heard good things about that AI because it helps you with research. So you can look up, like, for example, studies on personal development in hospitals or in healthcare, and see if there's any studies come up that support your talk. And maybe then they'll be able to accept your presentation proposal based on the statistics provided. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. And we still need representation, Gail. Like, because
Yes.
like there's what, 180 to 200,000 Pinay Filipino nurses in the US, but
Hmm.
still lack of representation both in leadership and stages.
Right. Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
representation definitely does matter. It's it's part of our psyche when we see it. When we see that
Yeah.
someone can do that, someone who looks like us, someone who is from where we are, and for those who aren't Asian, or for those who are white, you could think of it as like when the first time you saw a woman on stage or in the industry that you wanted to be in, or the first time you saw someone from your religion, or from your even from your city or your state. You get that hometown love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think that's sometimes diversity isn't always something you can see, and I think it's what makes our world such a beautiful place. So having places
Yeah.
where we are in affinity groups, where we can be together and not have to mask who we really are. Sorry, she is really excited.
Oh, excited.
She
Yes.
sees the microphone and she's like, "Can I join in?"
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
there. Okay, there. Actually, she does speak a little bit.
Ah,
Hopefully, that's not too
yeah.
loud on the video. We'll see.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Gail, and just noticing like Filipino being represented too, like Tony Awards, both actors and
Yeah.
actresses or Filipino
Mhm.
American, and then even in US Open golf, I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, we're starting to show up.
Yeah, it's so important to know that, where we can do anything, we can be anywhere, and that our voice matters. And yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on this live with me. I'm really excited for this coming year. I'm also excited that I'm almost done with my role.
I know.
It's going to be strange not being on executive committee for a
Yeah.
year. I think it's going to be a good exercise for me too, of not overcommitting myself and being able to focus on other things, and be a member in that way. I'm always looking forward to
Wow.
people's speeches. They're so amazing, and maybe more people will allow us, or Jen, who's the incoming publicity person, to put their speeches on our YouTube page. Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be nice. Like, because she's excited being VP of PR. I'm
Yeah.
excited to be VP of membership, and I think all three of us are like really excited to be
Yeah.
part of this. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, and maybe a VP of Ed. I heard. We'll see. So it's coming
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, it is.
Hmm.
I'm really excited to see this coming year. Well, thank
Yep.
you again,
All
Karen, for
right.
being there. Let us know how, if people are interested in your work as a coach for Filipino nurses, tell us more about what you do and how people can get in contact with you.
Yes, well, for me, like I really love like empowerment and mindset coaching, especially for Filipino immigrant nurses. And it doesn't mean that if you're not Filipino immigrant nurse, that I won't work with you. Like always great to for people that resonates with my work to help with them. But like, yep, I do incorporate all the things that I've learned, Gail, from inner child healing to Clifton Strengths and Lego serious play. So, like, yeah, if something that interests them or resonates with you, email me and we could set up a time to meet.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
All right. And thank you, everyone, for watching us. If you want to find out more about Entrepreneurship Toastmasters, you can go to entrepreneurship.com/Toastmasters or send us a message on any of our social media platforms. Either myself or the incoming publicity person, Jen, will respond back and answer any questions you have. Thank you all.
Bye.